What's up, Knights? The beginning of this video where I said, what's up, Knights, kind of got cut off because somebody's in the video didn't say it properly, so I had to screen record it. Anyway, here's the video. I am a bit under the weather today. It is midweek right now. I'll record more of this video further along in the week, but I want to come and talk to y'all real fast about a little something I'm thinking about. I just got done doing a podcast the other day, and I don't know, for some reason, later that night, I was thinking to myself, am I really succeeding at this? Am I really achieving anything? And I was on Fox News and I just did a podcast. Obviously, I'm doing something. I'm succeeding in some way. I'm gaining some attention. But it kept rolling around in my head, like, am I really succeeding? Am I actually achieving what I set out to be my future goals? And if we really think about the future goals and things like that, have I picked the right ones? Now, I believe I have. I believe that I have abandoned previous thoughts and experiences that cause current objectives to be created. That's one way that Freud really dives in. He says that the past is what creates our future and current objectives. Adler says the exact opposite. Adler, whatever his name is. He says the exact opposite. And I feel like I have officially jumped away from the past enough to create objectives that are solely upon my own mental prowess, my own desires, my own thought process abandoned from previous experiences in life. And that is something amazing. And I had to really think hard about that and heal and think about my objectives, think about my goals, and like, are these actually me or are these the past? So I believe I've actually achieved the goals, set of objectives that I actually want, not the past. And now I'm thinking, am I really reaching these goals? Am I succeeding in these goals? Or am I wasting too much time? I was recently reading the book of the Five Rings, or the Book of Five Rings by, I don't fully remember his name. I'll tell y'all his name here in a second. I know his last name is like, I don't even know. I'll tell you his name in a second. I was recently reading the book of the Five Rings. And in the book, it literally says, like word for word, don't do things that don't matter. Don't do things that are pretty much ultimately useless. And that's something I'm like, oh, okay. If I really factor that in more to my day-to-day life, maybe I'll be achieving my goals faster. Just maybe. Maybe I would feel. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm really wanting. I wanted to feel like I'm achieving my goals and actually achieve them. But, I'm a human. Humans want to feel like we're achieving things, not just achieving. We want to feel like we're achieving in the process. So maybe I spend more of my time paying attention to what matters, not getting distracted by the false glamours of the world. Maybe I could feel like I'm actually achieving something more and achieve things faster. Now, that's a thought right there. That is a thought right there. I'm going to ponder more about this throughout the rest of the week. Right now, I'm going to hit the hay, and then when I come back to this video, probably in a couple of days, I'm going to tell you more about that Book of the Five Rings. Or, I keep saying it's just Book of Five Rings. I'm going to tell you all more about that. Give y'all some of the stuff that I took away from that here for y'all right now. All right, Knights. Book of Five Rings. I have it right here. It is a lovely book. I'm going to read off some of my notes that I gathered from the book because honestly, it has some really good stuff in there. Now, it's mostly about fighting techniques, fighting stances, but this book is still taught in Japan to this day in like classes and schools, and like a lot of people follow the way that's lined out in this book. It is a great book. It was written in the 1600s by Miyamoto Musashi. Second time reading it, I really enjoyed it. So first thing, got my notes right here. First thing, the attainment of the carpenter is that his work is not warped, that the joints are not misaligned and the work is truly planned so that it meets well and is not only finished in sections. What I gathered from that, so this is my take on that, right? So I wrote down quotes, I wrote down my take, stuff that really stuck to me. What that means to me is we don't need to be half-assing things, right? When we half-ass, when we only complete in sections, when we don't plan out the entire thing we're supposed to be doing and doing it to perfection in the most minute details, then we create more problems for us in the future. We create double the work, double the problems, because we're a little mentally lazy in the now. And that's something a lot of people struggle with for all of history, and something that he pretty much talks about in that one section. I love that. The next thing I got is pretty much a quote about how the different types of wood is used in building the house. So you got like the straight wood, the pretty wood, the knotted wood, the unknotted wood, the weak wood, and the strong wood. The weak wood's very beautiful. It uses that for like the doors and the shingles and the siding. And then you have the warped wood that's very strong. It's ugly but strong. They use that for the inside of the pillars. They use that for the foundation. What I gathered from that right there is simply that, and this is something I gathered last time I read it, and I really believe everyone should kind of contemplate on this. Every part of the tree gets used in building the house. Every single part. The ugly parts and the beautiful parts all get used. Just like in you, every part gets used. Your flaws and your failures are still stepping stones on the way to success. You still use these for success. A great example is I failed at being a rapper back in the day. I could have still kept going with it, but I realized I didn't truly enjoy it like I thought I was. That was a failure. But now I am becoming successful as a children's book author, where I use the rhyming skills I gained from trying to be a rapper for so many years. So that right there, that is pure honesty, proven fact right there, that I took an ugly failure, an ugly part of me, and I used it for success. And that's what we all should be doing. We should be looking at our failures and our flaws, not as necessarily always a bad thing, but something that can be used as a tool when we build the house of our lives. Next, we got no warrior should have a favorite weapon. Becoming over familiar with one weapon is as much a fault as not knowing it successfully well enough. That right there is pretty much what so many people fail at in life. So many people pick one passion, one job, one skill or trade, and they stick to it. And they just stick to it and they never learn anything else. And then one day, the company they're working at dissolves, or they get fired, or AI comes out and replaces the job that you had. These things happen. And those people then have to restart their entire lives. They go through whole crisis moments and everything, and they simply just trained a secondary passion, a secondary job, a secondary way of fulfilling life. And then they would not have to go through crisis mode. And that's something I think we all should do. We all should have more than one trade that we know how to do. I have stuff I can fall back on. But actually, when I moved here to Texas, I had to fall back onto a previous title, if you will, inside my company. A different job that I was doing. But because of previous training at other places I worked at, I had the skills for that. I jumped jobs when I first got the job where I'm working at now. And then when I moved to Texas, I had to jump jobs again, but I jumped into a job that I actually had skills for. So you see, my position got dissolved in a way, and I resolved this by getting a position in a job I already had skills in. Because I'm not allowing myself to study only just one weapon. I want to have more than one. Because I'm trying to make sure I don't have to go broke, because I don't know how to do anything else besides the job that I was trained to do. Next thing on the list is, we're almost done, guys. Next thing on the list is, you must make the best of the situation. See through the spirit so that you can grasp his strategy. Pretty much, and this is something that I also can double down on from another book I read, which is from the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Pretty much what this is stating is that we should be paying attention to what other people are doing, so we may mimic that. If someone else is succeeding in the career that you want, you should be copying them. Of course, do your own way, build your own path, but take notes from their path. You know, if you got to walk a few feet down their path so you can build your own path, by all means, do that. They talk about that in Mel Robbins' book, the Let Them Theory, and I love that book. I would love to do a video about that, but I have to reread it, which I plan on rereading again one day. So maybe in a year's time, I'll do a video about that. Next thing we have, this one I really like. Crossing at a ford. Setting sail when the wind is in your favor, even if your friends stay in harbor. Favor the day. Whoo! That is some samurai knowledge right there, I'm telling y'all. The reason that is so fucking beautiful is it means pretty much, narrows it down to when you are ready, it does not matter if everyone around you is ready. You need to seize the moment. And that's something I did by moving here to Texas, and my life has changed so much. And I didn't even think about it when I moved here. That's what I was doing. But contemplating, reflecting back, that's what I did. I seized the moment. And I was ready. And I had an opportunity. People around me weren't ready. People didn't want me to leave where I was at. Multiple people wanted me to stay. But I said, no, I just seized my destiny by setting sail. I can't stay in this harbor no more. That's what y'all need to do too. You need to set sail, don't stay in the harbor. When you and an enemy are matched in spirit, change your mind by abandoning your spirit to change strategies. Pretty much when your strategy isn't working, when it comes to anything in life, when your strategy is not working, abandon that strategy, do the exact opposite. Change your tactics, do something different. If what you're doing is not working in life, do something different. That is the essence of growth. That is the essence of change. And that right there is something that I've done myself, and it's worked wonderful. When I recognize, okay, what I'm doing is not working. Let me try something different real fast. And boom, something starts working. Sometimes it's hard to recognize that, but I believe in y'all. Y'all can do that. And the last thing we have on the list is do nothing of which has no use. Pretty much that means is stop wasting time. Doing tasks that are a complete waste of your time. I remind myself of that this morning. And this is something that I was talking about earlier in the video, which was taking place earlier in the week. Literally something I was talking about earlier in this video. So this is something that I remind myself this morning. So this morning I get up, I make my coffee, I sit down, I start playing little video games. About 30 minutes go by and I'm like, wait a second, Ryan, you are wasting your morning. You should be journaling. You should be getting in front of the world and doing things, finishing this video. I have errands I need to run. I have stuff I want to do today. And I had to stop the video game. I had to put the controller down, and I had to decide to pick up a journal, start journaling, pick up my notes and do this video, pick up this book and refresh my mind. I had to decide to stop wasting time on things that are not going to help me in the long run. Now, yes, wasting time from time is actually a good thing. You know, playing video games can relieve stress. It can be fun. It's good to unwind from time to time, waste a little bit of time, but at the right times and for the right length of time. That's one thing we all get lost into. We spend too much time on the things that don't actually matter. We can spend a little bit of time on things that don't matter, but in the long run, we have to limit that. We have to have discipline. We have to live the way. So nice. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm going to wrap it up. I have things I got to do. I'm going to run and buy some things at some stores, wash my car probably. And I got a lot of things to do on this day of today. So I hope y'all continue to grow. You need to grow. I'll catch you on the next video. Stay noble and live that noble lifestyle. See you on the next video.